Breaking news and a big loss in court for Team Delulu. Literally minutes ago, Judge Lyman in New York ruled on the Wayfarer Party's request to squash subpoenas, and they got a big win.
Breaking news, Justin Baldoni just got a big win, meaning Blake Lively got...
Blake Lively, once seen as Hollywood's golden girl, is now facing serious backlash. After Justin Baldoni's recent court win, new details came to light that surprised many fans. Blake's attempt to win sympathy didn't work. Instead, her public image took a hit, and support quickly faded. Now, both Blake and Ryan Reynolds are under heavy criticism, and it's clear their usual charm may not be enough to turn things around.
They got a big win, not a unilateral win, because the goddess of gaslighting did score a narrow victory as well. Hair care professional wanted all of this information for an over 2-year period. Judge Lyman continues, including but not limited to call logs, text logs, data logs, and cell site information. On February 14th, the Wayfarer parties moved to squash the subpoenas as overly broad and invasive.
This wasn't just a misstep or a rough patch for Blake Lively. It was a calculated power play that backfired spectacularly. Once celebrated as Hollywood royalty, Blake allegedly tried to take over the entire production of It Ends With Us, sidelining director Justin Baldoni and pushing her own vision at every turn. What began as a passion project quickly unraveled as Blake, holding only a vanity executive producer title, reportedly forced her way into major creative decisions, rewriting the script, overruling the costume team, and clashing with the editor. She even replaced Baldoni's trusted crew with her own picks, turning a collaborative effort into a solo operation. The final blow came when she screened an unfinished cut of the film at a public event without studio approval, a move so reckless it triggered legal action and industry outrage. Now, with the court spotlight exposing the extent of her behind-the-scenes control, Blake's reputation is in freefall, and Hollywood is watching every moment of her downfall unfold.
Congratulations. The movie was amazing.
Thank you.
There were tears in the audience.
Amazing.
Heard there were even tears on set. And Colleen, this story is so personal to you. Tell me why Blake and Brandon were the...
Blake Lively's unauthorized screening of It Ends With Us blindsided Wayfarer Studios and sent shockwaves through Hollywood. It wasn't just a misstep. It was a direct violation of studio orders and industry protocol, turning a private feud into a very public scandal. In an industry where unfinished film cuts are tightly protected, Blake's decision to bypass approvals and screen an unpolished version was seen as sabotage. The fallout was swift. Studio executives panicked, insiders were stunned, and distribution plans were thrown into chaos. Worse still, her actions handed Justin Baldoni undeniable proof of interference, proof that strengthened his legal case and shifted public sentiment. Instead of apologizing or retreating, Blake doubled down, launching a combative PR counterattack. But the damage was done. Her calculated risk backfired, igniting a scandal that dragged her carefully crafted image into the mud and left Hollywood questioning whether Blake's power move had just ended her career.
But also, you guys, Colleen Hoover just reactivated her Instagram account, and she has apparently deleted all of the photos with Blake Lively. And Ryan Reynolds' school teacher has just reached out to me. Plus, there has been movement in their court case. She asked him herself. Initially, he was just getting involved with this project because of the book, but then she asked him herself to play Ryle in the movie. And things were great until Blake Lively, right? We actually had, and I think we're still trying to pull it in, this old clip of her discussing how amazing Justin Baldoni was, because he didn't just want to take on this book project, but it was important for him to understand the readers and the fans of the book, what it was that they adored about these characters, because he didn't want to disappoint them when he brought this to life. Chris, were we able to pull that in? We can show it later if not.
Blake Lively's legal and PR nightmare has officially exploded into one of Hollywood's biggest scandals. It all started when Colleen Hoover quietly reactivated her Instagram and deleted every photo with Blake and Ryan Reynolds. Then came a tip from a schoolteacher who revealed Blake personally asked Justin Baldoni to play Ryle in It Ends With Us. Things were fine, until Blake tried to take over. We've even got a clip of Blake once praising Baldoni's dedication to fans and the story.
But now,
That partnership has turned into a legal war. In a desperate move to control the narrative, Blake reportedly leaked damaging claims to the New York Times, timing the article perfectly as the lawsuit heated up. But the plan backfired. Instead of gaining sympathy, the leak raised red flags and made her actions look even more calculated. When her legal team asked for a gag order to silence Baldoni's powerhouse attorney Brian Friedman, the court didn't just deny it, they dismissed it outright. Then Blake tried to dodge a sworn deposition. Denied again. The judge made it clear she would have to testify under oath about her behind-the-scenes takeover of the film. Reports say she ousted professionals, hijacked the production, and even screened an unauthorized rough cut without studio approval. Meanwhile, Friedman is calling her tactics manipulative and dishonest, and with no gag order, he's free to keep exposing everything publicly. Hollywood is watching closely. Studios are backing away, and now Ryan Reynolds is in the crosshairs too. Insiders say he wasn't just watching from the sidelines. He backed Blake's power play, hoping to control a potential sequel. But that move is now a major liability. Blake's efforts to control this story have only deepened her fall, and with Friedman speaking freely and Reynolds pulled deeper into the mess, this scandal is far from over.
Who are not in the Hollywood world, what is wrong with her taking over the film?
I've never seen it before in my 30 plus year career in Hollywood. And an executive producer is below a producer in the film world. An executive producer signed up to be an executive producer, and that's it. As the time progressed in this film, she decided that she wanted to be a producer. She started to make edits. She wanted to be part of the editing team. There were people hired, like human beings actually hired to do the editing job, who had done work as editors. She wanted to be part of that team. The next thing you know, she took over the editing. She started making threats that she wouldn't promote the movie, that she wanted to be in control of marketing of the movie, that she would do nothing in terms of promotion unless she was the actual.
Blake Lively's legal nightmare just hit a new low. Her team tried once again to dodge accountability, arguing that her high-profile status should exempt her from sitting for a sworn deposition. The court wasn't buying it. On February 22nd, 2025, a judge ruled decisively. Lively must testify under oath about her actions during the chaotic production of It Ends With Us. That means everything from rewriting scenes behind Justin Baldoni's back to leaking damaging stories to the press will now be examined in brutal legal detail. But that wasn't the only blow. Lively also failed to stop Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman, from speaking publicly about the case. With the gag order denied, Friedman has full clearance to expose Lively's tactics, and he's already called her out for hypocrisy and manipulation. Hollywood has taken notice. According to Variety, studio heads are now reevaluating their ties with Lively, concerned not just about her legal troubles, but her unpredictable behavior on set and in court. Then came February 25th. A legal analyst told The Hollywood Reporter that Lively's court moves aren't just missteps, they're career suicide. As Friedman ramps up, the damage is accelerating, and no PR team can contain it. Her public image, once flawless, began to crumble in early 2024, but the breaking point came on January 14th, 2025. That's when the trailer for It Ends With Us dropped, and fan outrage exploded. Viewers accused Lively of glamorizing abuse and stripping the story of its emotional weight. The backlash was swift and brutal. What was supposed to be a passion project turned into a PR disaster, and Lively, who pushed for creative control, took the blame. Now, with fans turning on her and studios backing away, the question isn't whether she can recover, it's whether there's anything left to salvage.
Well, Blake No Teeth Lively has experienced yet another court loss. So she wanted to amend her lawsuit against Justin Baldoni, right? The judge said, okay, cool, you have until Valentine's Day, February 14th. And now Blake Lively was like, oh, hold on, wait a minute, we're not ready to present yet. And she was asking for an extension until March 5th. And then the judge said, okay, why? And she's like, duh, because I'm Khaleesi and I said so. And then the judge was like, LOL, yeah, no, I'll give you until Monday. I'll give you a couple extra days. You have until Monday, but you don't have until March 5th. And so now she has until this upcoming Monday, which is February 17th, to figure out what she's going to amend in her complaint. And initially there were rumors that the amendment was going to come with some sort of statement from Jenny Slate, who played Justin Baldoni's sister in It Ends With Us. And so people were assuming that maybe Jenny was going to be some sort of star witness, that this was going to be the smoking gun. Maybe she had something that she witnessed that she was going to...
Blake Lively's career is spiraling, and fast. What began as backlash over a poorly received movie trailer has now exploded into one of Hollywood's biggest scandals. When the trailer for It Ends With Us dropped on January 14th, 2025, fans weren't just disappointed, they were outraged. Viewers slammed it as tone-deaf and a betrayal of Colleen Hoover's emotional novel. Sony scrambled to re-edit and re-release the trailer a week later, but the damage was done. Then came the legal war. On February 10th, Variety leaked emails revealing that Lively didn't just offer input, she took over. She demanded script rewrites, fired key crew, and even hired her own composer without studio approval. Suddenly, fans and insiders alike accused her of sabotaging the project. Her legal team tried to fight back, filing a gag order to silence Justin Baldoni's attorney, Brian Friedman. But the court rejected it immediately, giving Friedman full clearance to speak, and he did. He called Lively's tactics manipulative and hypocritical, accusing her of leaking info to the press while trying to hide her own missteps. Hollywood took notice. Studios began distancing themselves. A Warner Brothers project was shelved. Netflix dropped her from an upcoming lead role. Variety called it a career meltdown in real time. Then, things got even messier. Fans uncovered a dance scene in It Ends With Us that eerily mirrored Blake and Ryan Reynolds' Green Lantern moment. Rumors flew. Was Reynolds upset? On February 8th, leaked texts between Lively and Baldoni surfaced, revealing a close, possibly too close, working relationship. 4 days later, insiders told Variety Reynolds wasn't thrilled. Soon after, Baldoni's career collapsed, his agency dropped him, and projects vanished. Some now believe Reynolds may have pulled strings behind the scenes. Meanwhile, Lively's downfall continued. Her legal team tried to avoid a deposition, claiming her celebrity status made it invasive. The court shut it down. She must testify under oath. And Friedman? Still free to speak, still exposing her behind-the-scenes power grab. A senior legal analyst told The Hollywood Reporter, "This isn't just a lawsuit, it's career suicide." With the industry moving on and her summer film under intense scrutiny, Blake Lively's once golden image is in ruins. The question now isn't if she'll recover, it's whether there's anything left to save. Let me know if you want this structured into an article or video script.
All the internet sleuths went and dug up an old interview that she did on the Anna Faris podcast where she basically pokes fun at hitting her ex-boyfriend, which doesn't really make her a strong star witness after all. Which may possibly be why Blake's team is now asking for this extension, because what they were planning on bringing to the table has now fallen through. Now, that's all speculation and those are all people's theories, but it kind of sounds plausible. Regardless, whatever Blake Lively's doing, she's not ready to amend her lawsuit, and it doesn't seem like she has a strong case, because if she had a strong case, why would she need all of these extensions? And as far as what Baldoni's team is saying about all this, they had no objection to her needing an extension, but they did remind the judge, they're like, but just know that when we asked for an extension back in January, when the LA fires were going on and they served us during the fires, we asked for an extension and they did not grant us that. But whatever you want, Judge, we'll go with it. But if she gets an extension, then we want an additional extension for ourselves until April before we can respond to her amended complaint. But now I guess that's all been thrown out the window because she didn't get her extension. Or she did, but just for the week.
Blake Lively is facing the most turbulent moment of her career, and the fallout might be permanent. After making high-level decisions on the set of It Ends With Us, without studio approval, her reputation has taken a massive hit. As Variety reported on February 10th, 2025, Hollywood insiders now view Lively as difficult to work with, a label that can be career-ending in an industry driven by reputation and risk. One executive put it bluntly, "Studios are pulling away fast. No one wants that kind of baggage." and the consequences are already unfolding. On February 19th, Deadline revealed that Lively was in advanced talks to lead a major Netflix series, but the deal went cold overnight. The timing is brutal. Hollywood is now drawing comparisons to the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial. Even though Depp won in court, the damage to his image lingered, and many studios kept their distance. Now Lively and Baldoni are locked in a similarly toxic standoff. At this point, it almost doesn't matter who wins the lawsuit. The damage is done. Because in Hollywood, it all comes down to money. If Lively can't pull box office numbers, she's out. Her next big test? An untitled 2025 crime drama slated for summer release. Insiders say it could make or break her career. If it bombs, studios may abandon her for good. If it somehow hits, she might claw her way back. But optimism is scarce. The Hollywood Reporter summed it up on February 25th. This isn't just bad PR. It's about money. Hollywood is watching to see if audiences still care. But just as her legal troubles deepened, another controversy surfaced. Lively reportedly developed an unusually close bond with her 23-year-old It Ends With Us co-star Isabella Ferrer, who played the younger version of her character. At 37 and a mother of 4, Lively began inviting Ferrer for sleepovers and lavishing her with gifts, raising eyebrows throughout the industry. A Variety piece from February 10th called the relationship strategic, and what once seemed like mentorship began to look like manipulation. The timing was suspicious. In January 2025, Ferrer publicly supported Lively's accusations against Baldoni, telling press, "Blake was always there for me. She made me feel safe." But critics wondered, was Ferrer speaking freely, or did she feel pressured? In Hollywood, power dynamics are everything. Lively is a veteran with influence. Ferrer is still building her career. On February 14th, Hollywood Insider reported that Lively's bond with Ferrer felt more like a calculated move to secure loyalty ahead of trial. That theory gained traction when the New York Post published a column on February 17th suggesting Ferrer may have been positioned as a potential witness to support Lively's narrative. Now, what once looked like a close friendship is being scrutinized as a possible power play. With Hollywood already backing away, this only adds fuel to the fire. The question remains, was Lively securing support or manipulating it? With lawsuits looming, PR in shambles, and even personal relationships under scrutiny, Blake Lively's Hollywood reign is hanging by a thread. And the industry? It's already moving on.